Hello guys, welcome to Druco tutorial. In last episode, we learned how to set a basic clock-in framework. Now let's bring this project a little further. For security reason, you can set a whitelist, as known as employee list, in order to check whether the person is an employee. Now let's take a look at program structure. So let's have a look back of what we did last time. So we can let user input their name and save their name and clock in time into a record file. Now let's take a little further by we want to make a logic by trying to add a checker right after the visitor come in. So if the name the visitor input is inside the whitelist, then it can proceed to the clock in program. If it's not, it will let the user retry again. To give a refresh of what we did last time, let's run the program of the last episode. It will let us input our name, and it will generate a name and timestamp into this record file. Okay, so now, because we need to create an employee list, so let's make a txt file within the same folder as your Python program. Let's call it employees.txt. Now I want to add some names inside. Let's add Mike, Mary, and save it. So let's get back to the code. Now I want to introduce my logic here. So if the employee name is valid, we should move on to the code here as what we originally did, right? So the only change is that when the employee name is not on the whitelist. I want to make this logic happen. So when the name is not valid, it will enter a loop here. While employee name not in employees. But we are lacking of the employee list here, because though we have a txt file here, but the program doesn't absorb the file yet. So let's make the program absorb this employee list. Since we give a name employees here, so let's have the variable name employees equals open. The file name, let's copy and paste. Read. You might notice that it doesn't have a mode here. We have an append mode here because in default, if you did not give the mode parameter, it will be default as the read mode. So while it's not on employees, let's update the variable again and ask them to input again. But we need another question. Name not on employee list. Please enter your name again. Now let's see if it works. So let's give a refresh we have the names here. Let's input names other than Mike, Mary, Ann. Drew, and type Drew again. Type like Andy. Okay, let's give a valid name like Mary. Okay, so it proceeds because it is on the whitelist. And now we take a look at the record here. Yes, it's completed. And now let's proceed by, for security reason, we cannot allow the stranger to try as many times as they want. Let's set a blocker that when user input fails for the third time, it will exit program. So how do we do this in the code? Now we can observe that every time the program enter the loop, means that the input is not on the name list and have been stopped by the gourd. So one time they enter it equals one time they try. So we can give a counter here, name it as try count equals 0. And because this action happens per try count, so try count equals try count plus 1. And you can also type it like try count plus equals 1. It means the same, but some programmers will type it like this way. You can simply see it as adding the variable by 1. It's the same. And so when the try count equals 3, print try 3 times. Please contact InfoDesk. Program terminate. And then we will add a sysexit here, which means we first import this module and then we add a sys.exit. Means that the program will terminate. Let's run it, see if it works. Okay, let's enter an invalid name 3 times. And you can see that it terminates. Okay, it works. But we need to check if the valid name can pass also for us to make sure. Okay, so let's type an invalid name first and then type a valid name second. Let's type N. Okay, it can work. And we can see the record here. Okay, so this is today's task. And we can see we have accomplished the first additional features. And item checked in our feature board now. Before we end, I want to give a brief that Drew Code is a Python tutorial channel which aims to help people deploy real-world codes. And one last thing, I want to shout out to SlideScope by providing this beautiful slide template. And thank you and congratulations to accomplish further this clock-in system. I hope you enjoyed this video and see you next time.